The Stephie Small Show on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Edge Boost, the bank account built for bettors. Sign up today at edgeboost.bet with promo code SGPN and get a $25 matching deposit bonus. We're also brought to you by Naira Bets. Claim your $200 deposit match bonus today at nairabets.com/SGPN200, promo code SGPN200. The DGens line of gear is live in the merch store, and to celebrate, we're taking 20% off everything with promo code DGens. Be sure to get your Triple S gear today.
Are you ready?
Happy Monday, everyone. Welcome back in to Triple S episode. What are we at? 21 now on the SGPN network. 22, 21, one of the two. Today, my dear friend, one of my best friends in the entire industry, the entire space, Dave Kluge of Football Guys, is going to join me. We're going to talk a little fantasy football rookies, and I have some questions about the Bears for him. And then I have a very special guest to talk PGA Championship. We're on to another major. But first, Dave Kluge, come on in. Of Football Guys. I feel like a lot of people don't know the history that we have together, but we have a long history together.
Yeah, I feel like when you said like one of my best friends in the industry, it almost undersells it. Like we are so much more than just industry friends at this point. Yeah. I just relaunched the Launchpad after taking like a 2-year hiatus, and I was thinking about it. Like that show was bred off of the show that you and I did together back in like 2019. Like we connected so long ago, like time just flies. It's crazy.
It's so crazy because I was looking the other day and I'm sure a lot of people don't know because that's been so long. COVID was happening, weird couple years there. And like our Friday show was just like kind of like what really like kicked off me transitioning from being a med student into, this world of sports that we're in now.
Yeah, that was a good time. We had some really fun guests coming through there. And then, I just kind of rebranded it. The Launchpad did that for a couple of years, and now it's back. It's unbelievable. Yeah.
Have you done one episode? Who do you have on next?
I've had 2 episodes so far.
Okay.
So Sigmund Bloom was episode number 1, and then Andrew Cooper, who I think he's coming on your show Thursday, right? Yeah, we've been I was on his show a couple of weeks ago. He was on my show. Now he's coming on your show. Yeah, he'll be on he was just on last week, and then Jason Wood this week, but already booked up for the next month or so. It's been a fun time.
Love it. If you guys need to go check it out. It's fantastic. My first question to you is, are you ready to be heard again? What are we talking Bears here? The win total is 8.5. It's juiced to the under. I think kind of fairly. I think they last went over this maybe 2018 Nagy Trubisky year. I think they had 12 wins. Where are you at with the Bears?
Definitely taking the under. I mean, you could just bet the Bears under every single week and you'll outperform the S&P 500. Delusional Chicago fans just always push that line way higher than it needs to be. But I wouldn't say that I'm ready to hurt again because I put up these emotional guards around the Bears, right? Like I relish in the wins and I just dissociate from the losses. And I know you're the same way, Steph. Like when the Giants are just in disarray, like you can't help but laugh at it. And that's kind of where I am when it comes to the Bears. That being said, I mean, it looks like things are trending up in the right direction. Like Caleb Williams, over 3,500 yards last year, had a good season by Bear standards for a quarterback. Ben Johnson's there now. They got 2 really fun pieces in Colson Loveland and Luther Burden. So I could see things getting better, but I could have seen things getting better last year and 2 years ago when they brought in DJ Moore to help out Justin Fields. Like it seems like the offseason, things are always best for the Bears, but I'd expect them probably to be a 7 or an 8 win team.
Yeah, And I wasn't surprised by this, but Caleb is 28-1 to win MVP. And we do like these second-year QBs. I'm not saying I'm betting it, but I think he is one of the guys that has like a really nice situation that he's walking into here. You have Ben Johnson over there. We talked about the pieces that they added. I think there's a lot to like about this Bears team, including fantasy-wise.
Yeah, and outside of fantasy too, I think, Steph, and you'll get this. I know you really like offensive lines. I mean, I think that's the big story here, even more than Colson Loveland and more than Luther Burden. Those are fun players, but they already have Roma Dunze and they've got DJ Moore and they've got DeAndre Swift. They've already got playmakers, but Jonah Jackson, his best years came in Detroit when they could use him as that pull guard where they would get him out as a lead blocker out, paving the way for whoever it was, DeAndre Swift, Jamal Williams, going out and getting Joe Tooney as well. I mean, the offensive line improvements, I think, are what I'm I'm most excited about, because there's a lot of young guys on there that are versatile guys that can pull and be used as lead blockers. So a lot of versatile weapons on this offense. I've heard so many people try to pontificate about what they think this offense is going to look like, and I don't
Yeah.
think anybody knows, because like
No.
Colson Loveland, he could be an inline tight end, or he could play out wide, or he could play out of the slot. DJ Moore can play all three positions. Luther Burden can come into the backfield.
Yeah.
There's just so many pieces that can move around that I think that nobody's going to really know what to expect until we see it out there in week one.
No, I'm very excited to see how this plays out. And I've said on a million shows, I've yelled about this. If you don't know how to develop O-line, just go buy one. Like literally just go buy one. Don't waste your time. Go buy proven pieces that gives you an O-line if you are incapable of doing that on your own. You brought up Loveland. We talked a little bit the other day where like I'm seeing Loveland and Warren coming off Dynasty rookie draft boards fairly late, like fall where I see is fairly late. They're falling into my lap, towards the end, there's early second round. Where are you at with these two guys? Because what is going on? Are people trying to force the wide receiver picks? Like, what is it?
I don't really get it. And I've got them both quite a bit higher. I've got Colson Loveland ranked as my 6th player off the board, and Tyler Warren as my 7th player off the board. And it just really comes down to looking at the guys who have been drafted as high as these guys. Like you look at top 15 tight ends over the last 20 years, they've all, for the most part, been hits. We got Jeremy Shockey, Kellen Winslow, Vernon Davis, Eric Ebron, TJ Hawkinson, Kyle Pitts, Brock Bowers. And like you look at the worst case scenario there, Eric Ebron is probably the worst case scenario. He still had a season where he had double-digit touchdowns. And then Andrew Luck retired out of nowhere and he kind of fell off after that. Kyle Pitts is probably the other like worst case scenario. He's 24 years old and he's got a 1,000-yard season under his belt. So you look at tight ends that have been drafted inside the top 15 over the last 25 years, there's a really good hit rate. Like worst case scenario, you're getting an Eric Ebron or a Kyle Pitts. Best case scenario, you're getting a Jeremy Shockey or a TJ Hawkinson. So yeah, I think it was smart of both of these teams to draft these tight ends, and I'm way above consensus on them.
Absolutely. And I think too, the one thing that people have played fantasy dynasty, whatever it is, for years and years, like the amount of variance in the tight end position is so absurd that even like those couple touchdowns here, it could change anything in where they are and how they finish for the season. Where are you taking DeAndre Swift in redraft? Because you guys were obviously rumored to take a running back. You did end up taking one a little bit later on, kind of got sniped in the draft. I love the Loveland landing. Like I think I messaged you right after. I think it's fantastic. I'm excited to see what happens there. But as far as Swift goes,
I'm a little bit lower on Swift, and it's one of those where I'm just kind of okay, let my league mates take him. Like there's some players that when I look at the opportunity and the talent and the acquisition costs, I just say I can't click that name, and DeAndre Swift is one of them. I mean, we saw this guy, there were some injuries, but his last year in Detroit, he was there with Ben Johnson, and Ben Johnson said, well, I like Jamal Williams better than you. And a lot of people are quick to point out that on a per game basis, DeAndre Swift was technically still inside the top 24 because he caught a lot of check down passes in PPR leagues. But all you got to do is go back and watch that season. Jamal Williams was very much so the preferred running back. He was getting early down work. He was getting goal line touches. We saw last year, DeAndre Swift was terrible at the goal line. The first goal line touch he got of the season was negative 14 yards. I mean, it was just abysmal. So I don't think that DeAndre Swift is going to be a big part of this. You've got DJ Moore and Luther Burden who could both take touches out of the backfield. Roshan Johnson and Kyle Monangai are both kind of the early down guy, the profile for that sort of work. So there is a world where DeAndre Swift can come in on third down and have some fantasy value there. But when that's what you're banking on, is him to get his value through the passing game, and he's got to compete with DJ Moore, Roma Dunze, Luther Burden, Colster Loveland, Cole Kmet, probably not going to happen.
Yeah, I think I'm okay on DeAndre Swift this year. I think that's why I've decided it's like everyone else, kind of like you said, you guys can have him. If I'm wrong, great. I don't care either way. I'm going to stay on this side of it. You do keep bringing up Luther here. What's this drama with DJ Moore? Like what is going on? Where is Luther fit into this offense? Is that something that you're taking like as high as what? Wide receiver wise?
I've got him as my wide receiver 5 in the class, and I'm in a dynasty startup right now where I just took him in round 7. I mean, you look, he's still just 21 years old, and there's already reports out of Bears rookie minicamp that he has been playing out of the slot and running all the same routes that Amon St. Brown was running in Detroit. So if we're going to put him into that role where he's going to walk into 170 plus targets, I mean, that's just going to be printing money in fantasy. The whole DJ Moore thing, I don't really know. I mean, you
Yeah.
know it's Steph. I'm sure you saw last year him giving up in the middle of routes,
Right.
walking off the field and sitting on the bench before the
Right.
whistle blows. And it's weird because DJ Moore has been like a consummate professional his entire career, like
He has.
horrendous quarterback. Yeah,
Mhm.
like even in Carolina, horrendous quarterback play. He never complained about it. He just went out
No.
there and played, and then he finally gets his big check, and now all of a sudden he's
Mhm.
turning into a bit of a
Yeah.
diva. So I see a lot of overlapping skill sets with what DJ Moore does and what Luther Burden does. DJ Moore was actually one of our comps for Luther Burden in the rookie guide because they're
That's
similar
funny.
players.
Yeah.
Um, I think DJ Moore is probably out of the picture after this year, though, assuming Burden and Loveland can both be the players that they drafted them to be.
Any shot these out of the picture before the season starts?
Potentially.
Maybe, maybe not.
I think if he doesn't pan out, though, like they would need to see some big flashes. And right now, Colson Loveland, he's still recovering from that shoulder injury, so he's not practicing.
Mhm.
They haven't seen anything from him. I think if Loveland and Burden are both showing in camp that they are just certified studs, that like you can't keep them off
Yeah.
the field, then they might be willing. But we also have to remember Roma Dunze didn't have the best rookie season. So, if you move on from DJ Moore and Roma Dunze ends up not being the player they drafted him to be, Burden is kind of a middling wide receiver too, and Loveland doesn't emerge as this great top 10 talent either, then all of a sudden the Bears wide receiver situation gets really, really bad. So I think they need to hold on to more, at least to see how these young
Yeah.
pieces develop.
It's weird in Dynasty too. Like some of these wide receivers, I feel like you draft as rookies. They don't do a whole lot their rookie year, and you're drafting them more for the investment. And you have to know, like, you are not planning to start him week one in your lineup. Like that is an investment that you're making. We kind of saw it. I don't know, like JSN comes to mind as one of those guys.
Yeah.
Even like Romo Dunze, as high as he was going in Dynasty drafts, like I don't know that
Like
panned out the way
Mecca
that we
Ibuka
thought.
this year, I think is
Yeah,
another perfect example. Like he's behind
yeah.
Evans and Godwin. If you draft Ibuka, you're like, well, I hope this guy can pan out in 2026.
Yeah, and okay, so where are you at with McMillan then? Just staying on that quick because he feels dead on arrival to me, but I still think that they have an investment in him.
Yeah, I mean, it was a third round pick. It's not like they made a
Yeah,
huge investment in Jalen
right.
McMillan. And his time came when Mike Evans was banged up late in the year. Chris Godwin was
Mhm.
out.
Oh
Kate
yeah.
Otten got hurt. I mean, it was
Mhm.
kind of forced him into this role. And we have seen that in the past. Don't get me wrong. Like Amon St. Brown, a round 4 pick. TJ Hawkinson got hurt. DeAndre Swift got hurt. He had to step up as that number 1 pass catcher. But I still think with Ibuka there, that's a pretty big indictment on how they feel about McMillan going forward. So I think McMillan could be a fine secondary, maybe even a third option on the Bucks
Yeah,
offense. But my guess is that if we see Evans out of the picture in the next couple of years, Ibuka is going to be that guy playing out of the slot, taking the majority of the work. Godwin at this point in his career, he can play the X role, and that kind of
right.
leaves McMillan as a flanker where he can score some big
Mhm.
touchdowns here and there. But I don't think there's going to be enough volume going his way to be a consistent fantasy piece. He'll be one of those guys that, like, on a good year, he'll score 8 to 12 touchdowns, but then he's going to have other years where it's just 500 yards, 2 or 3 touchdowns, and not much of anything.
I want to ask you one more Bears question before I go back to some of these rookies because I want to talk to you about Matthew Golden, who I feel like I'm lower on than most people here. But Caleb, his ceiling in fantasy feels very high this year in redraft. I think he's going like QB 13. Obviously, it's very early in the season. A lot of people are not drafting right now. But like in startups, he's really tempting to take right now.
I just took him 8th overall in a startup and didn't
Uh,
really think twice about it.
yeah. I think I'm going to be all over him. We also talked a little bit the other day. Like CJ Stroud, I think I'm buying back in too. I feel like you got to buy the dip there. It
Yeah.
might blow up in your face, but I think that Tunsil was not the player that everyone thought he was last year. If you go back and watch some of it, it was not as advertised.
Yeah, and if you look CJ Stroud last year, I mean, Stephon Diggs tore his ACL in what, like week 3 or 4 or something like that, immediately out of
Yeah.
the picture. Nico Collins gets hurt first month of the season, and he never really came back to 100%. Tank Dell obviously gets his season ended. Like at the end of the year, the guys CJ Stroud was throwing to, it's like Xavier Hutchinson was the wide receiver 1 out there. It was just terrible for him. So you look at the investments this year. I love Jaden Higgins and Jalen Noel. I mean, I like
Yeah.
Jalen Noel more going into the draft, but obviously they like
Okay.
Higgins more, and that's why they took him in round 2. But
Yeah.
getting those 2 guys, pairing them up with Woody Marks, a guy who can catch out of the backfield and does some really
Mm.
good things there, bringing in Christian Kirk as well. Nico Collins, presumably healthy coming into this year.
Mhm.
I mean, CJ Stroud obviously had a dip in production going into year 2, but still had a very good second season. I mean, he
Yeah.
was good last year, just not as good as he was as a rookie. But now with better weapons around him, I'm way back in on CJ Stroud.
Yeah, as am I, 100%. Before I ask you a couple more questions, I'll get these ad reads done here. Edge Boost is the first ever bank account built for bettors, ensuring all gambling transactions are approved, no usage fees, no minimums, earn cashback rewards, 100% approval for all betting deposits. Sign up today at edgeboost.bet with promo code SGPN. The Preakness is just around the corner, and there's no better time to get in on the action with Naira Bets. Sign up today using promo code SGPN200 and score a $200 deposit match bonus. Don't wait. Head to nairabets.com/SGPN200. And it's time for my bonus Underdog Pick'em. Underdog just launched their new game ladders. Win up to 500x watching your favorite players climb the ladder. Here's a Pick'em entry I like for the PGA Championship, which we'll talk about after this segment. JT finishing position better than 10.5, and Morikawa, I know, disgusting, and Xander better finishing position 20.5. That'll get you 8.04x your money. So sign up with Smalls 2 L's to claim your special pick and first time deposit offer up to $1,000 in bonus credits. Now back to fantasy football, less about all the special offers that we have for you here over on Sports Gambling Podcast and Network. Okay, here's someone I want to talk to you actually about first, before we talk about Matthew Golden, before I let you get out of here. Like, RJ Harvey is the classic case of the echo chamber and the public are going to make me not draft him, and then I feel like I'm going to regret that decision. But the way that he is the darling this year is really pissing me off.
I know. I tweeted not about RJ Harvey, but I know you can relate, Steph, when I said, like, one of the worst parts about being a fantasy football player is liking a player and then seeing the market get really weird about them and then being like, I don't want to draft this guy anymore. And that was me with RJ Harvey. Like, I had him as my pre-draft RB5. I had a Scadaboo and Tootin and all those guys. I just love him. He's a good player. Like, you look on an efficiency standpoint, Ashton Jinsey was the only guy that had a better profile than him last year. I mean, breakaway runs, missed tackles, force, scoring touchdowns. He was able to do it all. But yeah, like you said, people are getting weird now. Like, I see people saying he should be like a top 5 dynasty pick. Like, he's going 4th round. Yeah, they're getting weird about it. And I don't know where I stand. You've also got the red flag in dynasty too, that he's 24 years old. Like, that is old for a running back. Like, he is already older than Bijan Robinson and Jahmyr Gibbs. Like, he's an old dude. And he came in, he was recruited as a quarterback, so he doesn't have a ton of miles on his leg. But yeah, he was one of those guys, like, pre-draft, every show I went in, I was like, my favorite day 3 sleeper, RJ Harvey, like, just pounding the table for this guy. But if he's going round 3 and 4 in fantasy drafts, I'm out. I think he's a very good, like, at that 1-2 turn in dynasty rookie drafts. You can get him there. In a dynasty league, if you're in a startup and you can get him in like the 8th round, I think that's a great fit. But unfortunately, somebody is always going to reach a little bit earlier than that.
Yeah. You mentioned my Scadaboo here. That's now a New York Giant. I know you're also on the Tyrone Tracy. You're part of the Tyrone Tracy gang, I would say.
Very much so.
Scadaboo and Caleb Johnson, between the two of them, which direction are you going? Because I don't know that I'm struggling here, but and maybe it's because I don't like Jaylen Warren, and I've never been a Jaylen Warren fan the way that everyone else has. I'm kind of a Najee Harris supporter quietly, and I think that that's where that comes from. I think Caleb Johnson just slides right into that offense, and I think it's a good fit as far as the Steelers go. Like, what are they known for? I just think you have Arthur Smith there too. It's hard not to draft Caleb Johnson. I think is our friend Jeff Bell a little bit lower on Caleb than I am, or no?
He is, and I am too, compared to the consensus. Like, I think it's a good landing spot, and I like the player, but he's another one of those guys that people are saying, top 5, top 6, top 7 dynasty pick, and I just absolutely cannot get there. This guy doesn't catch passes, and that is so important in fantasy football. Jaylen Warren is going to take all of that upside from him. Now, I think when you look at a guy like Scadaboo, I do prefer Caleb Johnson to Scadaboo, but I can absolutely see a world where Scadaboo does have a higher ceiling because he was a pass-catching machine in college, and Caleb Johnson wasn't. Now, I don't know if that was a product of the offense that each of them played in, but if there's a situation where Tyrone Tracy gets banged up and he needs to miss some time, he is going to be able, Scadaboo is going to be able to play a 3-down role. Like, if Jaylen Warren is hurt, they're going to sub in somebody else to be that 3rd down back because Caleb Johnson can't do it. Scatterboo, if the opportunity arises, can be a guy who could handle 300
Mhm.
plus touches and 60 plus targets at the NFL level. And I don't think Caleb Johnson can.
Yeah, totally fair. I feel like Scatterboo is just if you're gonna draft him, now is the time to do it because I can see him being one of those like risers as far as like the summer goes.
I love the backfield though, like the
It's
complementary skill
fun.
sets, like what Scatterboo brings and what Tyrone
Yeah,
Tracy brings. I mean,
yeah.
that's just like the perfect thunder and lightning backfield that you always hear about.
Yeah, and a team that really has struggled at the goal line, obviously, for more than one reasons. I think that he's a very nice addition to help get you into the end zone for once. Do you have, I hate the word sleeper, but who is your like later round running back uh draft selection?
I'll go really deep because I think people are already
Love it.
talking about
Love
Bashal
it.
Tootin and some of these other guys.
Mhm.
Taj Brooks fell all the way to round 6, but he is a player in the pre-draft process that I like
Love
so
it.
much. And just like RJ
Okay.
Harvey, he's an older guy. The difference is he was recruited as a running back, so he does have a lot of miles on his legs, unlike RJ Harvey, but he is just a thick dude, 230 pounds, and he's got really
Okay.
quick feet, can run through tackles, can catch passes out of the backfield, and he landed in Cincinnati. And if you look, Chase Brown, day 3 running back out of Illinois, handled a huge workload in college, didn't really do much as a rookie, but then when the opportunity arose halfway through year 2,
Okay.
he stepped into it and won the job. Taj Brooks, right now he's got Chase Brown and he's got Zach Moss and Samaje Perine
Mhm.
ahead of him. But if the opportunity arises, he's a guy who can handle every single down. He's a phenomenal pass blocker as well. And he's playing on the Bengals, a really good offense. So if something happens to Chase Brown, he has to miss some time. I think Taj Brooks could step in and give almost identical production.
Yeah, that's an interesting one. I think I'm a little high on Chase Brown, so maybe need to reevaluate that. Matthew Golden, I think this is one that we might be pretty aligned in. If I were to guess, I think we've talked about it before. I never bought into a lot of the Matthew Golden hype. I think a lot of that was precipitated by what he did at the end of his season. I actually don't like the landing spot, despite everyone loving it. I think they love
Yeah.
it a little bit because the
Why?
Packers finally drafted a wide receiver. I don't think you love
It
it.
was
I
a
think
show for
you.
the home crowd. Like, they
It's yeah.
only did that because it was in Green Bay and they wanted to get the crowd
Come
excited.
on.
Let's be
Come
honest.
on.
Yeah.
Come on. Like that's very much like industry plant. He's basically a draft plant at this point.
Yes.
They already have a player there that is very similar to a Matthew Golden. I think he's going wide receiver 3 off Dynasty during Dynasty rookie drafts. Where are you at with Matthew Golden? Like, is it crazy? Should I be? I have no Matthew Golden, and I don't have intentions of drafting a lot of him.
That's where I'm at too. I've got him behind quite a few round 2 guys. I've got Trey Harris ahead of him. I've got Luther Burden ahead of him.
Okay.
Jaden Higgins ahead of him.
Yeah.
I don't like the fit at all. I,
No.
I I think he was one of those guys that just like always felt like he was getting propped up by the media. And there's always those guys, and NFL teams normally see through it. And it seems like the Packers didn't. Like all of his production came in like a 4-game window at the end of the year when
Mhm.
Isaiah Bond got hurt. And then he starts like gathering a little bit of smoke. And then he comes out at the combine and he runs fast. But we know that the data tells us that there's almost no correlation between a 40-yard dash and a prolific NFL career. So, you see the late season production, you see the 40-yard dash. I don't think that alone makes a first round prospect. I mean, I had a round 3 grade on Matthew Golden. And then, like you said, he lands at a team that needs a wide receiver 1. I don't think he is a wide receiver 1. I think all the
No,
things that he
he's
does, Aiden
not.
Reed does even better. So I don't get the fit whatsoever. I have not drafted any Matthew Golden because I've got, like I said, Trey Harris and other guys ahead of him that are much more palatable for me to
Mhm.
draft.
Yeah, he also kind of has an industry plant name, like Matthew Golden. Okay,
Yeah.
sounds fake to me. Last one here about some of these rookies. Shuck, Derek Carr, eyeliner wearing QB, has retired. He made it very dramatic, dragged out really at this point
That
because
sermon you sent me was legitimately one of the funniest things I've ever seen. Like, I
like
was watching
bringing
that
up
late at night, and I
Diana
was like,
in
"Am
church.
am I dreaming right now? Like, is this man giving a sermon about his shoulder injury?"
But the craziest part is he was saying that like it was lies, but then like coming out again, being like he just wanted the truth to be told the way I don't even know what the point of it was.
Yeah.
It was so bizarre. Shuck is like an older guy. Some people are very high on him. I am kind of indifferent. I think that there is some value though in taking him now, which sucks.
Yeah, I mean, especially like in Dynasty, everybody's just beating him down so much because of the age that like if he
Yeah.
does fall into round 3, I think it's worth it. But it's another
Yeah.
one of those like somebody's always going to take him before that.
Right.
It's weird. Like there's like a hive mind of like shuck truthers out there that are like,
Yeah.
I've been calling him QB3 since the start.
Uh-huh.
Like, okay, yeah, it's a weak class. Like being QB3 in a terrible quarterback class doesn't mean you're going to be a good quarterback. Like,
Right.
so
Right.
I'm not really there. I mean, this guy, yeah, if you look at his highlights, he's got some good plays on highlights
I feel like
because
everyone does. That's why they're in the NFL draft.
especially guys that have been in college for 7 years. Like if you've been a quarterback for
I
7 years
hope
in college,
so.
you better have a 10-minute highlight reel.
Yeah.
But no, you watch him, like he regularly misses wide open guys. He does have like a little bit of playability in the pocket.
Mm.
He's got that prototypical tall, strong, stand in the pocket type of
Mm.
physique that some guys like, but that
Mhm.
just doesn't do it for me. Like, give me a Jackson Dart or a Jalen Milroe over Tyler Shuck any day.
Yeah. I think I'm okay on Shuck. I think I'm okay on Shuck there. I think I would actually rather have my quarterback. That's what I would rather do is take Jackson Dart than
Same.
take Shuck.
I still think, and I know a lot of people have said that it's not even a possibility, but Rodgers going to New Orleans makes a lot more sense than going
It
to
makes
Pittsburgh. And I'm
so much sense.
like, why hasn't Rodgers signed his contract yet? There's only one reason is because he's hoping that like he doesn't have to go to Pittsburgh. Like it's not a good
Or he
landing
knew
spot.
the extent of Carr's injury too. Like maybe, I don't know, he's always doing his weird little whatever he
And
does. Maybe
I
he
think that was it. I don't know if it was New Orleans for sure, but like, he's just hoping like maybe McCarthy goes out there, rehurts his knee. Like that
Yeah.
there'd be a better situation that would pop up at some point. And I think that's why he didn't because Steelers fans are going to be mad at me for saying this. It's not a good landing spot, like at all.
No.
It's a terrible offensive line. You guys have one
Right.
wide receiver. Caleb Johnson is a slower version of Najee Harris. And you play in the toughest division in football. Like, why would
Mhm.
anybody want to go there at 44 or whatever years old he is? It doesn't make any sense to me. So I
Why would he
think
want to play
Rodgers,
outside to start with? Like I don't I
exactly.
don't
Yeah.
understand that. I
I'm
never
just
understood
picturing
that. Yeah.
late career Tom Brady playing in Atlanta and playing in Tampa Bay and playing in Carolina in these like
Mhm.
warm weather stadiums and domes. I think Rodgers would probably fit a little bit better there.
Okay, so then just to bounce off of that with the Saints, like Olave and some of the like where are you at with those guys then, fantasy wise?
I like Olave, even though he
Mhm.
can't stay healthy. Concussions are terrible, and he's had
Yeah.
quite a few of them. I think that he's good enough to overcome a bad situation, even if it is Shuck or who else do they even have there? Spencer Rattler. I think he got moved. I
Now
don't think
what's the
he's there
other who's
anymore.
the sassy one? What's
Yeah,
his
the guy that did the photo shoot, Jake
um
Hainer. Jake
yes.
Hainer. Yeah. So those guys are all still there. But I think Olave is good enough that even a bad quarterback could throw the ball his way 120, 130
Yeah.
times and be salvageable in fantasy. But yeah, I think if Shuck goes out there, it's just gonna be a pretty gross offense all around.
Yeah. I think I'm good on that entire. I hope we get the Saints week 1. That's my wish. If I get one wish that will get granted. I just want one good week 1, and I want to play them week 1. I don't even care. I'd rather it be on the road because I think we play them on the road, whatever it
Did you
is.
see the doubleheader that was just announced for Thursday night, week 16? It's going to be
No.
Washington and Philly, and then immediately after Chicago and Green Bay in week 16. That's going to be a
Oh,
really fun Thursday night.
that's really fun.
Mhm.
That's a very fun Thursday.
Yeah.
All right. Give me your biggest like variance that you've noticed. I know you're working on your rankings. I don't think they're fully done yet, right? They're coming out soon.
Correct. Yeah, but I
Yes.
can pull them up right now, and I haven't uploaded yet, so I can actually check the variants right now and
Nice.
tell you
Let me know
exactly
what's
what you
the
want to know.
biggest one that you're like, wow, I am. Although I think it's always the takes that are different from consensus that end up hitting. So I'm all for it.
Zach Charbonnet, I am so high on again
Love it.
going into this season. I'm looking right now. I am like 5 rounds higher on Zach Charbonnet than the consensus is, and there's just so many outs that he could end up
Yeah.
being good if he stays in Seattle. He's the pass catching back over Kenneth Walker. We already saw him lock in that role
Mhm.
last year, and Clint Kubiak likes drawing up
Okay.
routes to the running backs. If Kenneth Walker gets hurt, we've seen what he can do when he gets the full
Mhm.
workload. I mean, this guy was dropping like 38-point weeks last year. And there's
Yeah.
also still rumors about a potential trade for either Kenneth Walker or Zach Charbonnet being tied to
Mm.
Washington, being tied to Chicago. So
Okay.
then you're looking at that, blackjack split where both of these
Ah.
aces end up in a different situation. So whether Zach Charbonnet is playing second fiddle to Kenneth Walker, whether he steps up for Kenneth Walker or whether he gets traded to another team, or if Kenneth Walker gets traded, there's so many outs for Zach Charbonnet to smash his value. I've got him inside my top 24 this year.
Oh, I love it. All right, we like dads on this show. So you have to give me your fantasy dad before I let you get out of here.
Oh, my fantasy dad.
You want to know mine? It's kind of silly, but I noticed it in
the same one. I want to hear it. Let's hear it.
No, I don't think it's gonna be the same one. This is gonna be really unexpected for me. I think you're gonna be surprised when I say it. Drake London. I don't understand why people are skipping over him in best ball. I'm like watching him keep falling. And it's like, even let's say Penix stinks. Guess what? Then Kirk Cousins comes in and he just gives you the same season he gave you last year.
Exactly. Yeah. And I think he's a perfect match for Penix too. Because Penix loves throwing to covered receivers. Like when you watch him at college, Roma Dunze would have a defender draped on him and he would throw it up. I'll send it to you when we get off the show, Steph. I just shared recently where it was a play where Drake London was covered in the end zone. Yeah. Penix threw it 30 yards downfield and the play got broken up. They ran the exact same play on the very next play. London was still covered, threw it up to him again, 35-yard touchdown. So, I mean, he is going to give him opportunities. So I like that call out a lot. But mine would be Justin Fields.
Yeah.
Going back to the well this year. We know what Aaron Glenn's going to do. He's going to want to establish a run first, smash mouth type of football team. And Justin Fields, anytime he steps on the field, he's giving you QB1 numbers. And I think the fear is that maybe he loses his job at some point, but I don't see any world where they're just going to say, okay, let's see what we've got in Tyrod Taylor this year. Like, as long as Justin Fields is healthy, he's starting this entire season behind an improved offensive line. They've got Breece Hall there. They've got his college wide receiver one in Garrett Wilson. So Justin Fields, I've got him as my QB6 on the year.
Let's go. I absolutely love it. What a great call. I mean, I will always, he's one of the easiest players in the NFL to root for, and I will forever root for him. I will continue to draft him as long as they give him the opportunities to do so. You were fantastic. Tell everyone where they can find you, what's coming out next, what they can look for. I know you dropped an article today, I believe.
I did, yeah. So every Monday for the next few weeks, I'm going to be coming out with my positional tiers and rankings in Dynasty. Today was running backs. It'll be wide receivers, tight ends, and quarterbacks over the next few weeks. I've got the Launchpad every Friday morning. That's audio only, but you can find that on the Football Guys Fantasy Football Show feed. That's with Alfredo Brown. We've got an additional 2 shows a week that we're doing there. I've got 2 shows a week that I'm doing with Jeff Bell, doing the Football Guys Dynasty show. And then whatever else pops in my mind, I write articles about, and then I share bad jokes on Twitter if you're into that too. So footballguys.com, you can find all my stuff over there.
Never sarcastic, ever.
Never.
Not us. Never us. All right, Dave. I love you. I will talk to you soon.
Love you too, Steph. Always a pleasure.
Yeah. Rhythm is your home for AI back picks and props. Dominate the NBA playoffs and MLB prop market with Rhythm. Building your own model is simple and easy. Rhythm knows you'll love it. That's why they include a 7-day free trial. Here's something that Rhythm likes, and I also like as a short dog play. Mr. Shane Lowry, top 20 at plus 180. His projected finish by Rhythm is 2, which they like to have a little bit dramatic of finishes, but we like the top 20. I'll talk about him a little bit later on. T2 last week, absolutely beautiful numbers, in good form. 7 of his last 8 starts finished T20 or better. Rhythm has some amazing deals going on now. 25% off monthly subscription with promo code SGPN25 and 50% off annual subscription with promo code SGPN50. That's RITHMM, promo code SGPN25 or SGPN50. We're brought to you by mybookie.ag. MyBookie is your place to bet on every sport, including the NBA playoffs, plus props for every game. For the true D-Gens, the MyBookie money bag. MyBookie accepts customers from a ton of locations. Easy deposit and lightning fast payouts. A bet that I like on there for this PGA Championship is Father Spieth over Brooks Koepka minus 109. Head to mybookie.ag, promo code SMALLS for a 100% deposit match up to $1,000. Terms and conditions apply. That's mybookie.ag, promo code SMALLS. Circa Resort and Casino, my favorite place in the entire world in Las Vegas, is giving away the ultimate fantasy football experience for a 12-person league to draft in Vegas and be treated like VIPs for their stay. That's where I host my draft. The winner will receive a 2-night stay at Circa Resort and Casino for their entire 12 person league. They will hold their draft at a cabana at Stadium Swim with a $5,000 food and beverage credit, limo transportation to and from the airport, a welcome party at Legacy Club, amazing espresso martinis for the league, a reservation at the world's largest sportsbook with $500 beverage credit for the league, a 2-hour open bar package for the league at Overhang Bar. Contest duration is May 5th, so ongoing until June 30th. You can enter at sportsgamblingpodcast.com/circa. And now, everyone's favorite, we get to talk some golf. Finally, Larry, you are funnier than me on Twitter, and I think I'm kind of funny. At least I tell myself that. How's it going?
It's going good. Thanks for having me on. It's quite an honor, I must say.
Please, I had to get you on.
Well, it's interesting that I actually became acquainted with you on Twitter, not about sports, but we share one thing, a love for canned seltzer beverages. And we take it very, very
I brought one because you were coming on. And I wasn't going to be drinking, but you were coming on. So I said, I have to have a high noon with my friend.
And I got the high noons too as well. So
how do you think, what do you think of the Lucky Dog lemonade seltzers? I don't know if I like some of the flavors, don't love them. I think they're nice on the golf course though.
Yes. I think they're actually gonna, over the course of the summer, heading into the fall, they're gonna surpass Surfside. I think they're actually a better product.
Interesting.
I'll be following it closely. Like I have a network of college students throughout the Northeast, and I asked them, what the hell are they drinking at the beach, at the bars and all that? So it will be determined, but like High Noon and then Surfside, we're like the two big boys the last few years. And this is a High Noon product, but it's also got the lemonade. So
and it's not carbonated.
By the way, this isn't an endorsement. I'm not working for High Noon.
Unless they want to sponsor us, Dave Portnoy. If you're watching the show, I will take a sponsorship.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But I'm excited to talk about the PGA and whatever else you want to throw at me. I'm here to do it. I am a real bar, the college bar, Tom and Marty's. We are in graduation week, so we're running on fumes. So I get a whole summer off in about 10 days. So in the meantime, and you remember when you were a senior in college, you're just drinking every day straight because once you graduate college, everything changes. So they're partying hard. I'm trying to hold on for dear life until I can take a summer off and enjoy myself.
My college bar was called Dirtbags in Tucson, Arizona.
That's a great name because you're not looking. Your college bar should not be like a high-end, classy place.
No.
And not for nothing, we aren't exactly a high-end, classy place either. You think of as home and at the culture and the fun and all that. And that's the bar you'll remember 20 years later is 100%. Your college bar, your first bar. And that's what
college is it that what college are you by?
Binghamton University, which is it's one of the state schools. We're a state school bar in New York. And so it's predominantly downstate, city, Long Island, and so forth, and some upstate and so forth. So we're upstate. So they'll all come down, they'll all graduate and never come back to Binghamton again. But then I got another 5,000 of them coming in. I got to train up next year. So
how did you find yourself on golf Twitter? Like, is there like there has to be everyone has an origin story.
It was a fucking disaster. I got bullied by Twitter.
I remember. I think I know.
Yeah, originally I was on Twitter. This is back when college, like 10 years ago, college students used Twitter exclusively. And it was without a doubt the most awesome way to promote your bar in a casual way. Yeah. Shooting the shit with the students, making jokes, everything I enjoy. But basically college students abandoned Twitter. And so I went from having hundreds of interactions a day to not much. So what do I love more than anything? Talking golf. And I talk golf and I get a few responses. And then one fateful day I said, for every like I get, I'm going to bet $5 on my boy, Carl Yuan. And I was expecting to get maybe 20 or 30 likes. I got 1,600 of the goddamn things. And I'm not one to back down, so I ended up betting $7,000 on Carl, which ended in predictable Carl Yuan fashion and utter disaster. But that basically, I was like, wow, there's this whole Twitter world out there, golf world out there, and I just got immersed in it. I absolutely I keep my Twitter tight into like the subjects I like, and golf being one of them. Occasionally I'll talk about the bar, and that's how I got in there. And I've met a lot of people. I like to interact with people, and so it's just been a really great time. And
like the people are fantastic. Everyone's a good time. So you fit right in onto golf tour. I haven't been on golf for that long, even myself. As far as golf betting goes, other than, making tweets saying you'll bet X amount for every, like, do you have a process like these people with models, and like, how do you go about it?
My goal, my space, so to speak, is I am not a sharp. I'm not going to come at you with a data model. I don't even know what a fucking algorithm is, so I can't come to you with that. Instead, I do try to process all the information. I am very knowledgeable about all the players, what they do well and what they don't. So how can the person who's just casual and a fan of golf but has favorite players do that in the most profitable fashion? And that's the way I really go at it. So I pick the guys I love, but I try to be smart about it. And occasionally I do go overboard with guys I love too much, and it usually costs me. But that's part of being a fan first and a better second. And that's really what I am.
And I think, too, the fun and unique thing about golf that makes it a fucking blast is, unlike any other sport, you get to bet on one guy. So you are allowed to fall in love with this player and root for this player. And guess what? They're the only one that can hurt you in your bet. It's not a team. It's not a kicker. It's not anything else. It's not a coach. Like, it is quite literally, although sometimes caddies can get in the way occasionally. But for the most part, it is one player and you get to fall in love with them.
Yes, or learn to hate them more than you probably hate anything else in the world.
100%. Like, I will never fucking draft Morikawa in my season long ever again. So we are done with Morikawa officially as of. I should have been done with him.
Yeah. Morikawa is like, I will be dining out on the wins I got from him like 4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah.
But since then, Collin Morikawa is without question the most toxic, codependent relationship I've ever had in my life.
Yeah. It's fucked up.
That he drives me fucking nuts. Yet I still keep coming back to him, and he does the same things wrong each time. And I'll bet him again, thinking, well, maybe it'll be different this time. So he actually is like number one on my new do not bet list that I made, specifically saying I just can't take the pain anymore. And that's Collin. I'll go back to him at some point, but I need a break from Collin.
I just thought a ridiculous nickname for him that I'm not even going to say on air. So I will DM you that later. Who have you bet on? Who is winning the PGA Championship? Because I'm in this new era of just like, it's very hard for me not to bet without the each way. I have come too close and it is too painful this year. A few times I will not do that. I like placement bets. I think there's a lot of good value on the placements. I have only bet 2 players so far. Where are you at? What does your card look like? Well, I think I will only get to 3 or 4 for this tournament.
Yeah, that's the thing. Usually all the majors but the Masters are at a newish course. You don't have a lot of information on how the course is going to play, which players will fit. This one is played, Quail Hollow is a regular tour stop. And yeah, they're going to toughen it up, but we really have a good sense of how it's going to play. And when you consider the top of the board, the 3 best players who are all playing incredibly well fit the profile of this course, which is going to be a power course, a bomber, a driver-heavy course, make your putts. It's really, really hard, if you're not using placement bets, to bet against them. And so you got Rory, Scotty, and third, but I think he's right up there with the top 2, is Bryson. And so betting against them, I'm inclined to do that in a lot of places. It's really, really hard to get there. And if you do, it's really got to be someone who fits a power profile. Because a Collin Morikawa, for example, who's an excellent golfer despite the fact that he fills me with rage. But he's an excellent golfer. His margin of difficulty here is so much higher than, like, say, at the Masters or other long courses, that he's going to have like a lights-out putting performance. And there's a lot of guys, Henley or way down the board, guys like Tom Hoagie or whatever. They have to be almost perfect to compete, and there's not a lot of value there. So going with the top of the board, generally, like golf Twitter hates betting chalk, but you're seeing everybody, and I'm definitely along with them, liking the top of the board, looking at those top 3 guys or guys just a step below who have the length.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm on Bryson. I've been on Bryson for a couple of weeks. I have a futures ticket with Bryson and the Chiefs to win the Super Bowl because I think that there's still value on the Chiefs right now. I think there's so much to like about Bryson here. So it's either going to be like the biggest public win ever, or it's going to be an epic disaster. Part of my gut is telling me, and I don't know if I'm just nervous, and I hate betting with the public. So this is hard for me. This is a hard thing for me. It's painful. It is painful that I am doing this with everyone. It hurts me to even say it on the show. I feel like a fraud because I usually, as a brat, I will not do this, but I am doing it this week. Part of me feels like, fuck, is Rory just going to fucking win?
Well, here's the thing. You got like the traditional bombers, Scotty, Rahm, JT, all of which have a game that compete here. But I think at Quail Hollow specifically, there's a cheat code this week where not just a bomber, but the super elite guys who can carry it like 330, and they can cut the corners on these holes, and they're going to have a ridiculous advantage even over the Rahms and Scotties, let alone the Collins and all of that. And the two ones that come to mind are the two best drivers alive, Rory and Bryson. And if I bet them, if they were the same odds, I definitely would lean Rory. Rory's just incredible. He's playing incredible. But Bryson is not that far behind him. And I'm sure you got him at a better price than you get now. But even at like 8-1 with Bryson now, there's still a lot of value there. So I'm not saying Scotty can't win it. Scotty's incredible. He's the best golfer in the world. But I do think the extra ability to absolutely smash the holy shit out of it and hit those like corners where you can leave the ball to almost, I'm not saying wedges, but instead of long irons, you're hitting from 160 out, is going to be huge. And Rory and Bryson are the two that come to mind at the top of the board, more than Rahm, even more than Ludwig, and more than Scotty. So I'm not saying the other guys don't have a chance, but they can have like a 2-3 stroke advantage on some of these rounds if the wind is right that other players don't have. And Rory, that's why Rory dominates at Quail Hollow, because he has that, he's not just a bomber, he's just crazy long. He can carry it over there that no other guys in the field usually can. And Bryson this week can, and there's probably only another half dozen guys in the field who aren't as good, obviously. So
and his irons can't possibly be as bad as they were as they were Sunday at Augusta. So I think there's a little bit of comfort in that, because that also wasn't he was in a weird, I don't know. That was so painful to watch as someone that had a massive future on him.
But the fact that he was in the final group at Masters, not a lot of people thought Bryson had the game, hitting without the rough and all that other stuff. So the mere fact that he put himself in position to choke it away actually shows that he's elevated his game, where I'm not saying he's course proof, like he can play anywhere, but he certainly can be competitive. And on this course, it fits him to a T. And those long irons that everybody bitches about, if you're hitting out of the rough, instead of a weakness where they are at the Masters, all of a sudden now he can power it out of the rough better than people. So Bryson absolutely fits here. And with his price, I like him more than Rory. Again, if it was even money, I'd pick Rory. But if I'm getting an extra 3-4 points, and I actually bet him at 18, which was a no-brainer to me, Bryson would be the play for me, and is the play for me amongst the guys.
Yeah. Any other like best bets for this? Anything else you've looked at for the PGA Championship here?
Well, you look down the board and you look at the different guys who has insane power, who can compete here, and I landed on two guys. One is Jocko Niemann. He's the live player.
Guy.
If you look at his stats and his ability, he is only a step below Bryson and Rory in terms of able to absolutely crush the ball, accurate, all that. His, obviously, the big demerit, and everybody shits on him for it, is he just has never competed in a major. And that's why his odds are lower. But if he plays his game, he is only a step below. I like him better, like even for even money, I like him better than Rahm, JT. Not Scotty, because Scotty's God, but all that. So I really like him. I got him at 40. I'm seeing him at 35 in some markets. That's actually good value. And then you go way down the board, and this is a guy I love, and I'm biased, but he can absolutely smash the holy shit out of the ball. He won at Houston playing a mode that will work exactly here at Quail Hollow, and he has that elite carry where if it works, it's a cheat code. And that's my boy Minwoo Lee, who he has weaknesses in his game. His irons can be shoddy. He sprays his driver. But when you're betting 90-1, you're betting the ceiling on the guy. So, he could not drive it well, irons be bad, not compete. But if he brings that game he had at Houston at 90-1, he'll be there in the end. And he has the ceiling skill set that he can absolutely keep up with the big boys. So those are my two plays outside of Bryson on there.
God, I like it.
And then all my losers that I love.
Yeah, I think I could get there with Minwoo. I want to add one more down the board. I decided I'm just going to ride this wave. I don't know why. Sometimes I'll find these guys, and I don't recommend betting him outright. I did the each way on Sam Burns, 100-1. He's 125 to 1 if you're not someone that likes each ways. I think that his top 20 number is beautiful. I know he just missed for us last week, but he's rounding into some solid form. You know, he's Bermuda Burns. Like 4 out of his 5 wins have been on Bermuda. And
driver putter. And he's a great driver. He doesn't quite have the super length, but he definitely has the length where it's going to be an advantage here. And when his putter heats up, which it has a little bit in the last couple months, not consistently, he could be right there too. He annoys the shit out of you.
Last time he was at Quail Hollow, so there's a lot. I think there's things to like, and I think that number is a little unfair in comparison to the guys that are kind of around him.
Without question. And there's a good chance he could crash and burn. But when you're betting 120, you're betting ceiling. You're betting the ceiling of a guy, and his ceiling can compete. 100%. He annoys the shit out of me because I bet him so many times, and he's flashed it, and then he just shits the bet on a Saturday.
Yeah. So I've never been betting him. I started betting him last week. I also bet him for the US Open. I just like that he's quietly coming into form, and he sucked ass for a while after he had his kid, and he's kind of just coming back into it. So I like to get the numbers now because like when were we last year getting 125 to 1s on sale? Like these type of numbers are not something you're going to see for a while. So I like to jump on guys, get that value. And then after that, other guys have looked at, I gave it out a little bit earlier. Vic is kind of calling my name. I like the top 30 at plus 110. I don't know that I love it higher than that.
If you're going to bet Vic, in my opinion, bet him outright. Because he's either going to bring it or he's going to do the stupid, crazy Vic things where he's tripping on acid down the ninth hole and all that other stuff and miss the cut. So I would rather bet his ceiling than his floor. So like a top 30, you're like, he's got a high floor to get in there. And Vic, absolutely frustrating as shit. He definitely has the game to compete here. He's kind of just gotten lost in the shuffle more for me because if you're going to bet top of the board, I don't like to have a full card. I actually prefer betting starting in the 40s and having the poo-poo platter of like 10 guys. That's more fun. And I'm kind of scared off of it this week because, again, you've got 3 players who are so elite and are head and shoulders above the field. But, again, I mean, Tiger Woods, greatest player ever lived. He only won I think he won 25% of his majors. So as good as these guys are, there is a lot of room still that none of them will bring their A- game, and that will open it up to a lot of people. So I'm not saying don't bet JT, Rahm, or even if you want to go with long iron, accurate guys like talent. I'm just saying for value, chase a guy like Burns down the board, or chase a guy, Minwoo in my case, versus betting a hoagie, who you and I both have hoagie issues. So
we have hoagie. We got some fucking hoagie problems.
Well, he's on the do not bet list, and I will break that probably as soon as next.
Wow, I'm proud of you. I will never get off the big hog.
Oh, I break it literally every time he's on the list. I bet him 2 weeks later, and I will probably bet him at Colonial next week.
Some guys I can be like, I need a break. I can't. One of those guys is going to be Spieth. I don't give a fuck what you guys say. Top 20, he's playing good enough. I don't give a fuck. And he's played well here. I don't care. He's playing well enough. I don't want to hear it from anyone. And then you know what I do with JT and Xander? This is how I fixed my relationship with the two of them. Well, JT's new to this. Xander, I bet him top 10 every week. That's it. That's all you're getting out of me, Xander, because I don't want to be hurt. You can still get a plus 100 on that. His accuracy in around the green play is very spooky for this type of event. And so I don't love it. But I also have a Bryson ticket already. I don't know where else my money's going to go. I'm okay with him top 10. And then JT too, plus 200 for him to be top 10 in the form that he is in, returning to the sites of his first career major. I like that. Like plus 200 is a very nice number on JT. So that's the other one I went with.
JT is my most hated golfer. I detest him. And yet I still endorse anybody saying they like him for this tournament. I mean, he's playing so well. He's definitely got the length. And if the course sort of falls apart, weather and all that, he'll be there in the end because it's around the green game. That's what he wanted in 2017 at a much different style. Quail Hollow was a lot different then. But it shows if the weather gets bad, if you can't hold the greens, the scramblers will step up who have length, and JT's there. And Spieth, everybody thinks Spieth is just this middle distance guy. He's pounding the shit out of them the last year. And it's only a matter of time, in my opinion, where he gets it all together and he moves back into that elite field of, after the big three, one of the next 10 guys. He's that good. He's just still finding his form. I mean, he's got a brand new wrist. He's like got a bionic wrist. So when it comes, and it could come this week. And Xander, if you look at last year's Quail Hollow, 2 guys ran away with it. Rory minus 17, Xander minus 12, and I think the next guy was 7. Xander is long. Xander can scramble, and if his rib has finally allowed him to practice more, he's going to step up. I mean, the guy won 2 majors last year, so you don't want to discount Xander.
You don't. And now that I'm thinking about it, I feel like I've been lying a little bit because now I don't want someone to be like, you said on the show, blah, 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 that you bet. And I did. I have a 69-1.
Nice. Sorry.
On Jordan Spieth to win.
Yeah. That's actually, I don't know what his current price is because, again, I'm pretty locked in about 3 or 4 guys.
Probably like 50-1. But I bet this. Yeah. I think I bet this at the this looks like I bet it $7.29 Sunday at the Masters. I got a 6.
Yeah, and he has a new ceiling he's going to reach. He's not there yet, and it could happen this week. It's not the perfect course for him, but again, just like we were talking about with JT, if things get a little crazy, and majors sometimes do, wind picks up or they misjudge how the rough's going to play, then obviously he's a guy who can scramble and adapt on the fly. I mean, he's legendary about that. So I, without a doubt, can endorse them. And even JT, who I will never bet, no matter what, even if it was a free bet. But that said, he's playing great. He's got the game for it. He can fuck off, in my opinion. But still, sorry if I'm not allowed to swear. Pardon me.
You can fucking swear.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not really a big fan of all the string bean leg guys that everyone's obsessed with in the league, like Morikawa and Justin Thomas. They have string bean legs. I don't know. They irritate me. Their faces are punchable. It's just how it is. My final question to you before I let you get out of here is, let's see, who do I want to go with? How many beers would it take for you to bet Patrick Cantlay this week?
Okay, it would take 6 beers to just lower my inhibitions to think about it. Take another 6 beers to where I don't give a shit anymore. So probably 100 beers. No, maybe not 100. But I would have to be almost blackout drunk to bet him because he is so frustrating to bet. He looks so good, and then he always has that Friday or Saturday round where he shits the bed, but then he comes back on Saturday. So there's something wrong with that guy. So I'm not saying don't bet him, but you're going to be frustrated as more than any other golfer on tour betting Patrick Cantlay because he shows you how good he can be, and then he absolutely pulls the rug out. He's been doing it for like 3 years now, and he's been doing his whole career in the majors. Actually.
Yeah. That's why I call him Patrick can't fucking win anything. Yeah. And I would need to be so incoherent. Someone would actually have to be on my phone for me, I think, to do that. The other person is Tommy Fleetwood. He hasn't licked a win. He hasn't even these fucking people week after week. Why are you betting him? Please.
I went on him last week at the Truist.
No.
And I'd never bet him. I was like, I'm going to change. And it was just a quintessential Tommy Fleetwood thing. Oh, his ball striking's great. His approach is great. Oh, and he missed another putt. He's so incredible. Him and Lowry have the skill set. You see it. Yet they can never put it all together for 72 holes, but they're just good enough to get you trying again the next week. They are like the ultimate cock teases of a golfer, or a tease of a golfer, excuse me. And I'm off that train. So you're allowed to bet Tommy Fleetwood once a year, and nobody's going to give you shit. 2, I'm going to call you an asshole. So don't get back on the Tommy. I will not this year. I can guarantee you that.
Also, fine, like if you want to be a fucking weirdo and fucking bet Tommy Fleetwood, like at the Truist or don't fucking. He's not getting his first fucking win at a fucking major.
He's gonna get so much steam at Portrush at the British Open. He's gonna probably be in the top 6 betting odds. Why? He has not shown he can beat normal competition, and now he's gonna beat the best in the world who have their games tailored.
Suckers.
Yeah, absolutely. But again, he's just good enough. Cantlay's just good enough to show you why he might be able to win. But how big of a data set? Sample size do you need to realize he just doesn't close? So,
995 days since his last win.
Top 20s, like a Lowry.
Top 10, fine. I don't give a fuck.
Absolutely. But when you're betting the outright, you got to be careful. Or, like you said, betting the each ways. And I probably will be adding just like a top 3 each way on Minwoo. I've already got basically my children's college fund on him already. So what's adding another few bucks on it to just give me a little bit of peace of mind on it? So I'll probably do top 3, maybe top 5. I don't really like going further than that unless, at least at this tournament. So I like the guy. He's either going to fire or he's not. I think Minwoo will. But yeah, can he win and beat all three? Who knows? So maybe a top 5 each way might be in order for him.
I love it. Thank you
But
so
yeah,
much.
people should explore the each way market because
They
betting
should.
outrights is really, especially if you're just a casual. Betting outrights is incredibly frustrating. You can go months without winning.
Yeah.
And if you don't have that perspective or that makes you miserable, don't bet outrights pure. You can do the top 5 market. You can do the each way market. I am comfortable in my self-loathing to lose. Basically, month after month, I can get there. But a lot of people, I would say, go each way, go top 5 without question.
I hurt myself in other ways that I don't need to keep coming in second with some of these guys. I'm tired of it. I am going to let you get out of here. Thank you so much. If you guys do not follow this man on Twitter, you should be following. Fantastic follow. I would consider you a sharp golf bettor. I appreciate you coming.
Well, if I ever win, maybe I'll call myself one, but it's been a while. So thanks for having me out.
On this show.
Pleasure. You're one of the better Twitter accounts out there. So always love following you. And good luck, everybody, at the PGA. Hopefully you do better than I probably will do, which is fucking lose. But you know.
Subscribe, like, rate, review, do all the things. I am going to head and do a fantasy draft for full-time fantasy that will be featured in a Circa magazine that you can check out when you enter that contest and win with all your buddies. And I will see you guys on Wednesday.